Oh, quiet. Oh, we're live. We're live. Shh, everybody, shh.
Well, this is the 10 o'clock news from the EV Café, brought to you by Geotab, My Energy, the AA and EV Civils, and I'm John Curtis. Today, we're joined by our news hounds, Paul and Sarah. So get a cuppa, buckle up for the latest in sustainability news. But first, the EVs. Well, Wednesday night was one of the best ever. Yes, thank you, Sarah. Sarah, live from the motorway. For the electric vehicle industry, we had the massive honour of piling in to pay homage to the best of the best. Massive congratulations to Novuna and GridServe for their category wins, as well as a special achievement award for our old friend, well, not old, but Melanie Shufflebotham at ZapMap. As you know, yeah, I know. Ooh. We, the EV Cafe, were up for EV Startup of the Year. The great news was that we came third out of 16 entrants in our category. Monta won, and we are absolutely delighted for them. Anyway, moving on, it was a top night. Reflections, Paul. What did you take away from the EVs, apart from an award, which we didn't take away?
Yeah, we stole an award, which was great, and we got a picture with it, just to kind of stroke the old ego. But no, it was great. It was good to celebrate so much innovation going on in the space, and I love the fact that there is a constant stream of innovation coming through our industry to help deal with the challenges that we're facing. So that's good news. That's what I took away.
Thanks, Paul. Sarah, what about you? You looked fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So did you. You can have your dress back now if you want.
I love the fact that you had sellotape around your heels. That's a little known fact.
I know, and I got changed in the toilet and the fire alarm went off. Glamorous.
But what did you take away from it, Sarah?
We were delighted to give out the award through pay-through to Melanie, very much deserved. But the categories are so high, 200 applications, everyone should just be really proud.
Yeah, and we were in the most competitive category with 15 other companies, and we came third, and we're really proud of that, but not for us, for you, because you've stuck with us, you've been here, you've watched us, you've helped us, you've supported us, and you will help us define our future as we go out to be better, bigger, more effective, more efficient with better messaging. So we will be coming out to you shortly to get all your feedback, because we want to be number one next year. Anyway, I bang on about the government's advisory electricity rate pretty much every week. This is the amount of money that you are able to claim via HMRC if you drive a company vehicle, and it's 5 pence. Now, MENA, fabulous company, have been doing some research, and they've said that after analysing 32,500 charging events using both public and home chargers, that 94% of cases it was costing drivers more than 5 pence per mile, which the HMRC advise employers to repay employees. In some cases, MENA say that employees were out of pocket by as much as 15 pence per mile if they charge on the public network, equivalent to £15 over a 100-mile journey or 1,500 over 10,000 miles. We recognise that the government are a bit distracted with their own challenges, but this can't continue. Whilst they fiddle, the pound notes and the planet burns. But it's not all about HMRC. Paul, you've got some strong views about this.
Strong views. Look, there is an option, right? So companies can just pay for the fuel, and it's not considered a fuel, so there's no benefit in kind. I'm sure that the companies will be able to write this off. It's not big costs. It's not big in the big scheme of things. It is big for the individuals, and many people are getting bonuses for this and that at the moment to cover the cost of living, which is great. So many companies stepping into that space. This is a simple solution. Just give it to the company, and then drivers can pay it back at 5p, and it's sort of fair. I think that there is a responsibility on some companies to step in where the government are being poor.
I'd like to see a little bit of levelling up where, irrespective of whether you drive petrol, diesel or battery, you're able to recoup the costs if you're driving a company vehicle on business. And I think that's equitable and fair.
Well, I suppose I have to agree with you. Because it does seem to be very obviously different, especially with the government changing the recent costs of diesel and petrol to reflect the new higher costs, but they did nothing with electric. And the cost of that has gone up considerably also. So, yeah, I agree with you. But, come on, companies, if it really is a problem and we're not getting anywhere, step in, help out.
Look, we will get there. This was no different when walking and cycling and getting public transport was frowned upon, and yet you could get 45p a mile if you drove petrol or diesel. Eventually, through sheer volume of noise, things like cycle mileage was introduced. So we've just got to be a bit more feedbacky. They probably think they've got it covered. They absolutely haven't. I've been saying for years it was half the price that it should be, and well done to Mina for bringing that research to light. We're doing our own research as well for a fleet specific focus around exactly how much that mileage costs, and it's definitely too little. And that whole pay it back thing's really complicated, because a lot of people, van drivers and myself included, use a car for personal miles as well. So unless I start tracking every single mile again, which is really annoying, then we are going to get a bit screwed over sometimes.
And this is the value of the EV Cafe: sheer volume of noise, keeping the pressure on, keeping things in the front of your mind. Do not go to sleep thinking that the world is a wonderful place. It isn't, and the only way we will change it is by being involved, having a voice, working together, collaborating, and making a better future. Anyway, All-Star
pretty
Business.
wonderful. It is pretty wonderful, really. There are some pretty wonderful things in the world.
There's some great stuff going on. All-Star Business Solutions have announced that its combined fuel and electric vehicle network in the UK has now more than 8,600 charge points across more than 3,100 locations, as well as access to over 90% of the UK's fuel sites. All-Star, which is on branding additional operators, now expects to have more than 10,000 charge points by the end of the year. It's recently welcomed GridServe, MFG, connected Curb, Charge My Street, Allago, Plug and Go, and Mer to its network, joining the likes of Source London, Genie Point, ESB Energy, Osprey, Alpha Power, and Life. That's got to be a good thing, Sarah, hasn't it? Aggregation, bringing all those networks together.
Yeah, interoperability is God, we all want it. It's hard to do. Just as long as we don't accidentally create silos, which I think All-Star are trying really hard to not do. And of course, they've partnered as well with Mina, so that home energy reconciliation is possible as well. The card doesn't stop things like chargers not actually working when you get there, though. So there's still a lot of work to do on the data behind the scenes to make sure that the chargers are talking to the software.
Absolutely right. We need working chargers. Now, chargers, nice link. Charge Safe. We had the joy and pleasure of being with Kate Tyrrell and James Coyle at the EVs this week. And Charge Safe are a public charging network quality organisation, and they keep tabs on the quality, safety and accessibility of charge points being installed. Kate and James established Charge Safe, and they look out for those charge points which are situated in isolated or dimly lit areas where lone drivers may feel unsafe, where accessibility is an issue. And in a short space of time, the company has expanded its remit to provide an in-depth 63-point audit, which includes assessing the size of the parking bay, important for vans, Paul, I think you'd agree, whether there are height or other access restrictions, turning circles, and if it's possible to reverse park into the bay. All of these things need to be focused on. Paul, it's a major issue, isn't it, where charge points have been put in the past, and we're not aware of just how difficult it can be to charge sometimes.
You can turn up to a charge point, to Sarah's point about it might not work, but worse still, it's working and you can't get to it. That has got to be the ultimate in fail, as we call it these days, to get to a. People are not thinking about the whole system. When we go up to a petrol station, and I think I can remember doing it sometime deep in the past, but. You don't have a problem in terms of getting to the fuel. It's just a queue. People go in, and it's easy, right? You just got to remember which side the plug's on, as it were. But now it just adds another layer of complexity and demonstrates that different sectors of the market need a different approach, and it isn't one size fits all. So we've got to think about it and appreciate that the van users of this country are going electric too.
Wow. Hello from beyond. I just wanted to add, obviously we're doing our next webinar based on the local authorities and who's doing a good job. I think we should do a little section on whether anybody's got an exemplar fleet charging facilities that they've designed as local authorities. Of course, the highways teams who get to dictate the car parking in their car parks. So let's see if we can find the best of the best.
But interesting point, Southampton Council actually decided that they wouldn't allow vans to go and, or was it Southampton?
Wow.
One of them wrote to, well, they didn't write, they just said to a well-known large parcel company, please stop parking your vans there. We will now give you a ticket. There you go. On that bombshell.
Well, tumbleweed moves in. Thanks, Paul. Vans, eh? And Paul, down with the kids. It's the ultimate in fail. Oh, good grief.
Anyway,
I know. I laughed at that too.
Pulse, finger pulse. Yeah, that's me.
Osprey.
Funner.
It is funner. Right, will you two shut up so I can read this next thing? Osprey Charging will install more than 150 high-powered electric vehicle charging hubs across the UK by 2025. You may have noticed we're very interested in charging because the one key area that we seem to be having some pushback is in the quality of the charging. And Osprey are bringing a total of 1,500, 150 to 170 kilowatt rapid chargers will be installed across their sites on strategic A roads and adjacent motorways. 150 to 175 kilowatts doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people. Let me just tell you, it's fast. It chucks in loads of juice very quickly and you can get on your way. It's more akin to a 15, 20-minute stop than it is some of the slower, smaller numbers that you'll see reported on charge points. It's a £75 million rollout, and Ian Johnston, the CEO of Osprey Charging, said it's crucial that public charging infrastructure stays ahead of the curve. With all due respect, Ian, I think it's got to catch up with the curve. What do you think, Sarah?
I was so impressed with Osprey's latest hub that I saw in Gloucestershire. Nobody puts chargers in Gloucestershire, and they're very good, very efficient. And the lady next to me said this is an absolute lifeline for us as a business. We're driving this Kia Soul, and I just think credit where it's due. They always pick great locations, great places to dwell if you've got to be there for half an hour.
And what about you, Paul?
We've lost our roving reporter.
So what's that? 75 kilowatts.
Oh, she was still talking. How wonderful!
So I just want to say congrats.
Yeah, we really couldn't agree with you more, Sarah.
Sounds positive.
For being
Anyway,
the first CPO sign up to charge safe.
Still talking. Great.
That was brilliant, Sarah. Thank you so much. That's going to make the
point that you made right at the end there. Really good point that Osprey are committed to accessible and effective charging because they've signed up to charge safe. Lighting, safety, accessibility, all of those good things. Absolutely brilliant, and that is a really good thing. And many more like Fastnet and others are beginning to sign up. So that's really great.
Now then, we don't just deal with electric vehicles, we deal with charging infrastructure, we deal with energy, we deal with all issues around sustainability. And one of our very early supporters was a man called Paul Barnfather, or Paul Shearer Barnfather. And hidden in an attic in Chester, a tiny computer is constantly downloading local weather data from the internet and using it to save Paul money. The gadget, no more than a handful of circuit boards and wiring, is in a small plastic case and it's connected to his gas boiler. And when it's warm outside, it turns the boiler flow temperature down as less energy is needed to heat the building. This is known as weather compensation. It's been running for about 8 months, Paul says, and it works perfectly. You should have done it years ago. So this fella has made this box of bits turn down his energy requirement. It's absolutely brilliant, all based on the weather. Paul works for an electric car charging firm and has the technical know-how, so it's not easy, but he said he could do this for about 15 quid. The man is a genius. They may be available through the EV Café shop soon. Saving energy is really at 13, yeah, because we're not very good at business. Paul, it's really important that we don't waste energy, yes?
I agree. Do you know what? I heard an incredible fact the other day, and it was that if you've got your gas boiler chugging away through the winter, it's as good as leaving a car on your drive idling for the whole day. And I thought, man, I can't unhear that. I've got a gas boiler there. It's producing CO2s, and it's like crazy. bad for the environment. And which is partly why British Gas, of course, have gone all electric for their vehicles, is because they're partly responsible for this downstream emission of, on people's drives with gas boilers. It's a real challenge. But, what are the alternatives? And can you just rip it out? It's money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah, welcome back.
Sorry.
Anything to add to that? Didn't think so.
Yeah, it was really. Oh no, it actually is. There's a huge moral dilemma around gas boilers as well, and whether new homes should automatically have electric boilers or not. And yeah, we'll come back to you on that one.
Just some fabulous comments coming in. Thank you to Steve Hamer, Richard Hill, Leah, Wright, Tiramakia. I hope I've got that right, from the Cook Islands. Thank you all for your comments today, coming in from LinkedIn, YouTube Live. Melusine. Oh, now there's an interesting one. Dave Campbell, Dave Bushnell, Michael Barton. You see, we do have viewers. They do tune in because this is where you get the very latest of the EV Cafe and electric vehicle news. Sarah Sloman on a motorway somewhere. Paul Kirby in a bedroom that needs decorating somewhere.
Office.
Love it. Love and hugs to you both. For everybody who's tuned in, thank you. We really do appreciate all of your support in the last year. We'll be back next week on Friday at 10 o'clock. We are also at Fleet and Mobility Live this week at the
FML.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, you will be able to see the five of us live as we interview some fantastic guests and learn about electric vehicles, renewable energy, all of the infrastructure that goes with it, and help them to tell their stories. Pablo, you look like you have something to say.
I was just going to say, telling the fleet stories. I think that's going to be the great thing. We're going to hear from some great suppliers. We're going to hear from some great fleets doing it today, helping decarbonize the planet through transition to electric vans and cars.
Thank you, Paul. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from them. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just fun. EV Cafe News is regulated by Sparking for My Energy, Tucker from the AA, installed by EV Civils and monitored by Geotab. The news is performed by professionals. Please do not try this without a safety net. Any query regarding the accuracy, any query regarding the accuracy of the news should be addressed to Johnny Berry at Novuna, as the EV Cafe is his fault. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. So good.